So today I'm going to show you just very quickly how we do a prep, and I want you to think of this as when you have time for it, not all at the same time. I think that makes it a little bit easier. So if you don't know me, I'm Sam. I'm so glad you are here. Let's get cooking. This week we have some fun because we are mixing and matching our starches. So I'm going to quickly throw some potatoes in the oven, and then we're going to get cooking the rest of our food with our Instant Pots. So I've already washed these russet. I'm using russet potatoes. You could use whatever you have on hand. We're just gonna give them a couple pokes and put them in the oven. Super easy. Sharp knife, just gonna put a couple of pokes in just so the steam can escape. And these are gonna cook in a 425 oven for about an hour. I like to use the Instant Pot. It is easy, you can walk away, you don't have to babysit it. I'm lucky enough to have two, but you could easily do this part of prep in different parts of your day. So as you are kind of getting ready in the morning, you could put your chicken in, let it cook, put it in the fridge when it's done, and then start your rice later in the day. This does not all have to be done at one time. So we are cooking 2 nights worth of chicken at once. So for our family, that's about 1.5 pounds each. So I'm going to do 3 pounds of chicken. This is boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I feel like those reheat better. They stay a little bit moister. If that's a word that bothers you, I'm sorry. But the chicken thighs are just juicier in general. They're less likely to dry out, especially when reheating. And they're also a little bit more budget friendly. Whether you're doing thighs or breasts, the method is pretty much the same. You just want to get your chicken in the bottom of your Instant Pot, and then you're going to add at least a cup of water to the smaller pot, 1.5 cups-ish to this larger Instant Pot, because you want to have enough water in here to make sure that the Instant Pot can come up to pressure. And the last thing this recommends 2 cups of water, but the chicken will release a little bit of water as well as it comes up to pressure. So all we have to do, no seasonings, nothing else is needed, literally just water and chicken. We're going to turn this on, and for regular chicken thighs, it's going to be 13 minutes at high pressure and then just let it release naturally. If you are using chicken breast, it's closer to 15 minutes, especially because of how much we have in here. And then if you are like me and you put everything in the freezer as soon as you get home, chicken thighs will cook in 15 minutes and chicken breast will cook in about 17 to 18 minutes from frozen. The other parts of prep today are going to be making rice and chopping our veggies. And then we're done. It's really easy. So since I have to, I'm going to quickly make some rice in my second Instant Pot. And I have brown jasmine rice here. So I really like using either jasmine rice or a basmati rice because they, even in the refrigerator, don't get hard. Like just plain white rice gets really hard and just doesn't really reheat well. These reheat very well. So make sure that you spend a minute or two and run this under some water until the water runs clear so that all the extra starch has been washed away. It just makes a better end product. And then I'm doing 2 cups today, which will feed for 2 different meals. And we need about 3 cups of water. And because this is brown rice, brown jasmine rice, it's going to cook for 7 minutes at high pressure and then just let the pressure naturally release. If you only have white jasmine rice or white basmati, it's 3 minutes high pressure and then let it release. So all we have left is to prep the veggies for the week. This is really a huge time saver. I know it doesn't seem like it will be, but not having to chop your onions and stuff the day of really just makes it so that as soon as your skillet is hot, you can start cooking. It's also a really good practice just to say, okay, my cutting board's going to be dirty anyway, my knife is going to be dirty anyway. Why don't I just get all of that out of the way at once? So that's what we are doing today. This week we need to chop some onions, and then we also have one recipe that having fresh veggies really is best. So it's like cucumbers, tomatoes, things like that. So we are going to wait on those. But anything that's just as good, we're going to do in advance. So one of our recipes calls for shredded cabbage because we are making a slaw. I'm taking a shortcut and just buying a bag of slaw. I find that it's just as good and it's a lot easier. But if not, if you don't have that, then also add to your prep this week to go ahead and thinly slice up about 1/2 head of cabbage and just put it in a big container and put it to the side until you need it. So we are going to slice a red onion. You just want to kind of finely dice it up And what I like to do is have containers set aside for each meal already too. So as I'm cutting up the red onion, I can just put it in the Monday container, the Tuesday container, all of that, so that I'm not constantly trying to figure out what to do with the things on my cutting board. Just gonna quickly show you. I like to, like I said, finely dice. So watch your fingers, but I just like it so that as you're going across, everything is really fine. Then, like I said, you can just go ahead and put this right in the container. We're gonna chop up our white onion now. You can use yellow, white, whatever you have on hand. This is for another day. So this is gonna be in our pasta for the last day. So cut the onion according to how much you like to see it in your pasta. I like it to kind of fall into the background, so finely diced. We prepped the red onion for our chicken shawarma dish. We did the white onion for our pasta at the end of the week. We also want some fresh garlic with those as well. If you want to take a shortcut and just buy the jar of garlic already minced in oil, that is 100% fine. Or you can just take a few minutes and crush up a couple of cloves of garlic. So I'm actually going to just chop all this up and store it in its own small little container and just take a little bit from it all week. So my goal for you is to really have the shortest prep possible. This is not meal prep in the normal sense. We're not making an entire meal today. So with that being said, I like to think in advance, how can I make it the easiest possible to prep? So if this is on sale and you really love chopping up broccoli, go ahead and buy a big old head of broccoli. We're gonna cut the florets into bite-sized pieces. If the price difference isn't that much, I highly encourage you just to go ahead and buy a big bag of already chopped up broccoli florets. I do like to just go through this and make sure there isn't a huge chunk in there, but other than that, you can wait until the actual day of cooking to do that part. So whatever floats your boat, whatever is in your budget, I want you to do what works best for you.
So last part of prep day is to just get everything into the fridge. Typically, I just like to keep food together, so I'll put all the rice in one container, all the chicken in a container, and then just portion it out the day that I'm going to be cooking. And the thing that's probably going to take you the longest at this point is your chicken. So for this week, we are shredding all of the chicken up. It is the easiest to do this when it is still warm or hot. I'm going to transfer this to a container and then shred it up. Take a couple of the chicken thighs at once, and then just, you can see they're super moist, tender. Just want to shred them up. Think bite-sized pieces. Just want them to be as uniform as possible. And again, because this is hot, this is going a lot faster. If you waited until the chicken cooled, it is a lot harder to shred. If you know you want it to be in cubes instead of shredded, you can wait for it to cool and then just cut it into cubes. So I do recommend that you let this cool once it's shredded. Cool for 10 or 15 minutes just on the counter before you put it into the refrigerator. Make sure you get everything into the fridge pretty quickly at that point. If you know you wanted to potentially freeze some of this chicken for later, maybe your plans change after you started, your prep for the week, let it cool in the fridge for a couple of hours. Once it's cooled off, transfer whatever you want to freeze to a freezer safe container and freeze it right away. Don't wait 2 or 3 days to freeze this. It's best to freeze it right away. I hope your prep was super easy and painless, and this helped clear up any questions you might have had on exactly what a prep day is. So now we get to have some fun and cook our meals all week long with what we've already prepped.